here with our very special guest, Adam Conover.
Hello.
Who I discovered, Michelle, let me just back up.
Tell me
I
your story.
discovered Adam, I'm flipping around on television, and I see this show on True TV called Adam Ruins Everything,
Yes.
where Adam sort of debunks urban myths or common ideas that the poi polloi
Common
have.
misconceptions. Yeah.
Common misconceptions, and he runs through the history of them, and it actually tells you the real story behind it, which is right up my Jessica Fletcher ass.
Yes, it is.
Because that's what I am about. I don't want the facade. Just give me the truth. I can handle it, and that's why I love the show. You've been talking about, you know, I've been tweeting about the show, and I'll probably tweet about this show for the rest of my natural born ass.
You've been tweeting about it so much. I'm like, are they working PR for the show? Like are you getting like messages from our PR department? Hey, time to blast out the new episode. It's been so. We've really appreciated the support so much. Everyone at the show is like, oh my god, RuPaul tweeted about the show.
No, because it's one of the most important shows to watch, especially today. It's so important for people. For people to hear what's really, really real. Now, did you just land on this show, or have you always been that kid who's just like, what's this really made of?
No, I have always been that in my whole life. I mean, like I've been my whole life kind of like an information sponge, you know, like I've always like, I don't know, I read articles and I listen. I don't listen to music in my car. I listen to podcasts, you know, I'm just that kind of person. And I've also had, like my character does on the show, like a sort of inability to know when it's the wrong time to say something, you know, and I've always been like, you know, sort of bugged people in that way. I've had that like sort of lack of social ability, but I've also been, you know, a comic for like the last 10 years, you know, and so in the show is where those two strands finally came together, you know, like I was always reading these things and like, you know, watching documentaries or whatever, and but I never knew what to do with it. I was just sort of I'd randomly say that information in conversation, and then when I sort of like, oh wait, if I do that with comedy, I was looking as a comedian trying to figure out, like, you're doing comedy, like how do I make people care, you know, how do I do something that isn't just, okay, you can tell a joke, but that people will remember, you know, and so that's what that ended up being when we sort of do it both at once.
I know this had started as a College Humor storyline,
right?
So how did you get involved with College Humor, that company,
right?
And then how did a College Humor sort of, I guess, skit or something turn into a television show?
It's not that interesting of a story. I mean, I was doing
add sex or just add nudity or something. Add blowjobs to the story.
There you go.
I blew a bunch of people, and then a couple years later, I blew more people. No, I mean, I was a member of a sketch group called Old English for many years, where we did.
I know Old English, baby.
I think you know the other kind. We named it after our favorite 40 in college.
Yes.
That was the name of the sketch group. Yep, oldie. That was what everybody drank at my college. And so we did video sketch online, like really early, like sort of pre-YouTube, you know, and so people sort of knew us.
Where did you go to school?
I went to a school called Bard College, like a little school up in upstate
He's from
New
Long
York.
Island.
I'm from Long Island. Yeah. Oh, you did your research. Yeah.
What part of the island?
I was in Suffolk County, a town called Wading River. It's like halfway out. It's like farm country where I grew up. Yeah, pretty far out. Not the city and not the Hamptons. In between, the part of Long Island that nobody goes to.
Great.
But yeah, and then I went to school upstate, but so we were sort of this early web sketch group, and the guys at College Humor just sort of knew me because we were sort of like peers. And then eventually, I when I was looking for work, I was like, "You guys need a new sketch writer?" And then I started writing sketches there, and then I wrote in, you know, the original idea for the show where I'm bugging people, and they're like, I'm telling them the facts, and they're like, "Oh, come on, man, why do you got to ruin all our fun? Like, this is so annoying." That was actually what the other writers at College Humor would do to me in the writers' room when I would try to tell them facts like that. You know, they'd be like, "Oh, come on, this is so annoying." So when I was writing the first sketch where I wanted to do this material about the engagement ring, about how the diamond engagement ring is not an age-old tradition, it's just made up by the De Beers Diamond Cartel in the 30s through a big ad campaign that everyone forgot about. I'd been doing that material on stage in stand-up, and people really liked it. And I was like, all right, let me write a sketch about it. But I was so worried about the other writers saying like, oh, you're such a, come on, man, this is so didactic and, you know, pain in the ass, that I just wrote the other two writers, Emily and Murph, into the script, making fun of me for it. so that in the writer's room when we did the read-through, they couldn't make fun of me there because I had already written them in doing it. And that ended up being like the whole engine for the whole show.
Right, and Emily and Murph are cast members on
College
on your show.
We were all staff writers together at College Humor, writing sketches together, write a script a week, do it online. And then, when we started moving to
Emily
TV,
and Murph,
they're on the show now.
They're the couple that got married, right?
Yep.
Yes.
That's them.
And are they a couple in real life?
They are a married couple in real life, and incredibly funny people. They're the funniest people you'd ever meet. And they're like they're almost like what is it, like Nichols and May? Remember the old? They're like a married couple of the funny comedians. It's incredible.
Mike Nichols and Elaine May.
Yeah.
Now, so
I was thinking Shield and Yarnell. But...
Yeah, the same kind of thing. Now, so you guys were at College Humor, and how did you guys get a TV show on True TV? What was True TV before it was True TV?
Was it Court TV?
It was Court TV?
Years ago.
That's how it started.
I see, yes.
I mean, it's not even the people who work there now. There's probably one guy who's been there since the Court TV days, like one old editor or something. Like, I remember when we were doing the OJ trial or whatever.
Yeah.
But everybody else, it's just like the real estate changes. They changed the name on the building and they turned it into a whole new network. But we have one gag in the show where we made a reference to the fact that it used to be Court TV. But yeah, I mean, we were the first web video that we did, the Diamond Engagement Ring, was a big hit, and people didn't just, it's not just like it got a lot of views, like people sort of passed it around and talked about it, got some press cover and stuff like that. And College Humor had just moved to LA to move from making web videos into making TV shows. And so
what other TV shows do they have?
We did one, well, I shouldn't say, I didn't work on it, but College Humor generally did one for a year called The Middle of the Night Show for MTV. And then it was
for kids.
They only did 1 year of it. And then they've done a bunch of other things for like YouTube Red and some other projects like that. But they came out here to try to we were all living in New York and they moved us all out to LA, say, hey, we're going to make TV now. So when we made the first episode of the web show, or of the web version, everyone at the company is kind of like, oh, this could be a TV show. Let's make a couple more and then pitch,
And that De Beers one was the first episode.
That was, and then we did it again for the first episode, right, for the pilot. And so we pitched it around town, and True TV was the place that like was willing to take a risk on it. Like they had just started doing more comedy and wanted like this sort of educational content, and it's and God bless them, because everywhere else that we went to pitch this show, they were like, like quote nonfiction TV channels, they were like, well, it's pretty cool, but our channel is all like guys in Wrangler jeans on fishing boats who are killed by killer whales or whatever.
What channel you're talking about?
Like these very these like they sort of knew exactly, like, if you're not doing that, if you're not doing like wildlife adventure stuff, we're not really interested. But True TV was like, well, we just rebranded, we're willing to take a shot at it, and we were able to do this show that's really, there's no other show on TV that's anything like ours, because we do it's not just facts and like the information and comedy, it's also like a scripted narrative show with characters, that sketch comedy, that like, so it's I'm really grateful that they were willing to take a whack
Bravo
at
to a
it.
company who wants to think out of the box.
Exactly,
Thumbs up
yeah.
to True TV.
And it's really good, especially for someone who's like myself, who's watched TV my whole life, and I want more. I want takeaway that I can really use in my everyday life. It's funny too, is I'm a big fan of the show Westworld on HBO.
You are?
Yes.
You're kidding.
I only watch.
Fuck you, Michelle. But one of the guys.
Oh, okay. At first I thought it was genuine surprise.
One of the guys who chops up the robots. His name
Oh,
is
great. Did you just spoiler alert it for everybody?
Well, no, everybody. Yeah, that's what they do.
Okay.
I think his name is Eugene.
Yeah.
He's on the show. He did one. I think he's in the Christmas episode, and he's just in the background. And there's no reference to the fact that that's Eugene from Westworld. But then in another episode, a more recent episode, he's the redheaded guy with the he's the guy. What's the last episode I saw? Oh, he got a family. And then you get on the bus, and he comes out and he feels bad, and he says, "Oh, the bus stop is across the street."
Oh, Ptolemy Slocum. Yes, he is on Westworld.
Wait a minute, okay, what episode was that?
That was our It was called Security.
That was right, Security Theater. Yes. So anyway, backing up, it's got the show. His show has this ensemble of really great actors.
Yeah.
Who are all over the place, and they pop up in all these weird places.
I like to think our show's a little bit like, you people used to say Law and Order. At least in New York, Law and Order, everyone gets to do one little gig on Law and Order, and our show's kind of the same thing for like, sketch actors, like people from UCB or whatever. We because we have all, every one of our episodes has like 20 different parts of someone who comes in and says one line as a weird old timey mayor or something, and then zips out, and so I get to. It's really fun for me because all my sort of friends from comedy, I get to, they get to come to set, and
it's ADD television.
Yes, it's very ADD.
And what sucked me in the first time I saw it was on the plane. I was telling you guys off the mics that I found Adam Ruins Everything on Delta because I had seen every fucking movie there is to see.
Really?
Subtitles, languages. And TV was left.
Yeah.
So I went to TV and I said, oh, this is something I'm going to like because it's debunking stuff. I'm really into all that. Long story really short, I'm going to tell you what sucked me in. Not only the information, the way you do it, the way you deliver it, it's funny, it's edgy, you get the it's so camp. It's super high camp.
Yeah,
but
I
what
would agree.
sucked me in, Adam, is it's like Alton Brown, only with this pop culture stuff and stuff references that make sense. I'm sure you've heard that reference before.
Oh yeah, people tell me I look like Alton Brown, but I wish
you don't look like him. The style of delivery, you have favorite things. But what I loved when Food Network started, there were two people that I loved. It wasn't Emeril and his bam. It was Alton Brown because of the way he debunked and explained and scientific approach to everything. And he did sketches and cartoons, and it was constantly moving. He was my favorite. He still is my favorite personality of all time on Food Network. And the other one was David Rosengarten for other reasons. But you remind me of him in that way, and that's what sucked me in. Your delivery, the way you did it, and then the information. So I was hooked.
Thank you, that's so kind.
Which episodes?
Well, I started from where I said the first four. So I started with the diamond one, which I was like, oh my God, we've all fallen prey and all fallen victim to this. But try telling a woman that she's not going to get a diamond for getting it. So it was really fun to watch and be a part of it. So it went on from there.
Well, that's really the bigger story here, and that's what really drew me in. And I talked about it before, which is the surface facade that we all play a part of this charade
Yes, it's
in
a charade.
life.
Yes.
And then when you hear the real information, do you go back to the charade, or do you continue on a path of seeking out the truth and living a life that is authentic? That's not just based on really lies.
No, I think the average person is going to continue in the charade. This goes as far as, if you want to take it, let's use gay rights for an example. There's a heteronormative world that we're forced to think is quote unquote normal. When if you take yourself out of that and you rip that away, who said that this is normal?
Right.
Yeah.
There is no normal.
Right.
Your normal is different than my normal.
Well, I think what I hope we can get across with the show is, look, because I make the show and I still have to live in the world, like we make a whole thing about how tipping is kind of a bad system, right? But I still do it anyway because it's a system that we have. And I certainly do think that if everyone in the country agreed, we could find a more equitable way to pay servers that was better for everybody. But hey, I still got to go eat at the same restaurant that exists in the real world. But I hope what we point out to people is that, all of that charade and all those those heteronormative structures, or that kind of structure, is all changeable. That it's just something that
man-made.
It's man-made, and it's just sort of so many things in society we're doing out of habit, and we can change the habit. And so I think gay rights is a perfect example where that's something where people through concerted cultural effort, we were able to sort of bend the line in a big way and sort of make a large cultural change.
Not large enough.
Not large
but we're
enough.
Starting.
Not done yet, but I think a lot. We can look at it and we can say progress has been made compared to when I was a kid. I'm stunned by how much progress has been made. So. Reality is, so many people look at the structure of society and they say it's fixed. They're like, that's the way things are.
Right.
Never going to change them. Never going to try to change them. It's as immutable as a law of physics, and that's not true. It's I learned a really good word recently, which is that those are truths that are intersubjective.
Truths that are intersubjective.
Yeah. So they're not objective, right? An objective truth is like a law of physics, right? Something that's just part of the outer world. They're not subjective. A subjective subjective truth is something that just one person can change their mind about. Well, I like the movie, you don't. You know, that's a subjective truth. An intersubjective truth is something like, does money exist, right? Like money isn't part of the fabric of reality. It's not in one person's head. It's in everybody's head at once. If everybody stopped believing in money, it would cease to exist. If everybody changed their conception of money, it would change, right? So it's a reality that exists because everybody agrees on it, you know? And those are the things that sort of we question on the show. Like, is, you know, tipping a good system, or is the diamond engagement ring really a perfect, you know, tradition, or is I don't know, like purebred dogs is another one that we did, where people believe it, so like, oh, that's just how dogs are. Well, no, that's not how dogs are. That's how humans conceive of dogs, you know, and
made them.
Yes,
exactly. Like, we created these dog breeds, and we're the ones who created these divisions. The dogs are not themselves divided up. We're dividing them up into these groups.
Who comes up with what to go after, and how many people are on the research team? Because I know it ain't a husband and wife like Snopes.
We had a very small team our first year. Our first year we had 4 writers, 1 research person plus me. Our second year we had 5 writers, 2 research people plus me, or 3 research people plus me. And now we've got 7 writers, a head writer, me, and a research staff of 5, which is finally enough to make the show. We did the previous years of the show, the first 2 years, are still very well researched, but there are a lot more people working until midnight. And now we've got you know, it's been a little bit of a, you know, we've been growing it until we can have a sustainable life making this show. But yeah, we all decide together what topics to do. I mean, it obviously, it's sort of, I come in every year and I'm like, I want to do something about this, something about that, you know, but this year we're doing 16 episodes. We do 3 topics an episode. So that's, I'm not going to do the math, but a lot of topics. Yeah. I don't know all that stuff myself. So people 48? Come in and pitch, and
is that right?
I don't know.
That sounds, you know what? That sounds right. And let's just go with it.
Okay.
Yeah. The issue with being a seeker of truth is that once you find out that truth and you go and you tell people Soylent Green is people, you know, people normally just say, okay, so what? And so you find yourself really being very lonely because not a lot of people want to hear the truth. Even if they do hear the truth, they don't really care to change it.
Yes, yes, that's the problem.
They don't really care to change it. Yes. You know, and that's sad.
Yeah. It's difficult. I mean, it's in fact, you know, even after people do know the truth, they're often like, well, what do I do now? You know, like they know, but they, you know, even if they want to change it, they can't do it by themselves, you know? So I think one of the things hopefully our show does is it helps people feel less alone in that feeling, you know, right. and helps generate a little bit of a community of that kind of seeking is my
because hope. I think that speaks to why certain people once, you know, you explained how the impetus of this thing happened where you would tell someone something and they go, stop, you're ruining my high, man. You're killing my buzz.
Yeah.
And that action, that interaction right there is at the heart of this, which is people may know the truth. They want to live in the fantasy. It's like the red pill or the blue pill.
Right, right.
I want to stay and live with the blue pill.
And unfortunately, that's the majority.
Yeah.
But the more we educate them through what we do, you and I, Ru, and through what Adam does on his show, the more chance we have of enticing those people to take the red pill.
Right.
You know?
And people ultimately want to, you know. I think one of the one of really my principles on the show is a lot of people say, and especially when we started the show, we used to think, oh, we're hiding the medicine in the dog treat. We would say that, you know, we're making people take their medicine with comedy and stuff like that. The more we do the show, and you know, last year we got to do a tour and you go out and meet the people all across the country who like the show, you know, and talk to them. What I realized is people really do love learning this information, you know. Everything else we do, all the comedy and all of the character stuff and the stuff that the character's kind of adorable and things like that,
and the nudity,
there's some nudity too. Helps make it helps make it appealing, and it helps make it appeal to people who, hey, you know, they're working a long day and they don't have time to, you know, they get home at 10 p.m. and they don't have time to read a New Yorker article or watch a Netflix documentary, but we'll give it to them in a half-hour show where it goes down real easy. But the thing is, almost everybody wants that information. If you really put it to them and you say, hey, don't you want to challenge the world around you? Don't you want to learn more about why we do the things we do? Everyone will say yes. They just won't always, in their day-to-day lives, make space to do that investigation. And so I really feel like we're helping people do something that they really want to do. And I found that whenever we challenge our audience, hey, this is a difficult argument, go with us on this one, or something like that, they always come along.
Those are open-minded people, darling.
Yeah.
So
It's true.
to say that most people, I think, is wrong. You should go debunk that, because I think there's a whole group of people, especially in our beautiful country, in the middle section, in the southern section, that like it just the way it is and don't want it fucked with.
Well,
they don't want to hear truths.
That's an interesting point. I would love to see an Adam Ruins Everything on what percentage of people are actually open, have an open mind to change, and what percentage of people can actually take that information and actually work it into their daily lives. That's an interesting thing.
Yeah, because not real change, not a change in your tax. I'm talking about real change in this world. And that's hard shit to swallow.
Now, we're going to take a little break. We've got Adam Conover from Adam Ruins Everything, which is on True TV. In fact, if you don't have cable, you can go online to truetv.com and they have episodes on there.
It's on Amazon, stuff like that, too.
Is it on Amazon, too?
Amazon, iTunes, all those places, Google, all those things you buy stuff,
I love it. We'll take a break. We'll be right back with Adam Conover. Hey, I know you've got some kids at home who
I do.
who really dig epic gear, housewares, collectibles, fanatical fashionistas.
Yeah.
Well, Loot Crate is the answer.
I have to tell you, Lily gets the Loot Crate anime, and she looks forward to it every month like a kid waiting for Santa Claus to come down the chimney. It's unbelievable. And anybody that's into any of that stuff, if you're, comic books, pop culture, TV shows, anime, all that, there's a box for everybody, and even for your pet.
Yeah.
Loot Crate has it all.
Which I think is really cute. The idea of getting a Loot Crate for your pet.
So cute.
It's fabulous. So make sure you head to lootcrate.com/Rue and enter that Rue in there so you can save $3 on your next subscription.
I love it.
We've got Adam Conover from Adam Ruins Everything, a TV show that I sort of stumbled onto, and I'm in love with it. It's got so many elements that I love to it. First, the truth.
Yeah.
It's got the truth in there. It's got nudity.
Mm-hmm.
It's got
camp.
It's funny. And Adam is wearing every single suit I've ever bought at Suit Supply.
It is all Suit Supply. It is true. All my wardrobe is Suit Supply. And it's really funny. We approached Suit Supply. Hey, would you guys give us a couple jackets? We'll put your name in the credits. And they were like, nah, what's your show? We've never heard of you.
Shut up.
No, we can't get a suit sponsorship to save our lives.
And do you get a little bit of Adam Rich from him too?
A
little bit.
Oh, yes.
Enough,
From Eight
right?
Is Enough.
Yeah.
Yes, Adam Rich.
Grown
that's
up,
right.
it's
You're too
before
young,
your
honey.
time.
Yes.
Child star.
Yeah. And I did some research this morning, and I was very disappointed to hear that the woman who plays your sister is actually not your sister.
Oh, yeah.
Now, why would I think
Why
a
are you so
TV show that they would actually be because your parents are on
my
there.
parents
Those are your
real.
parents.
And-
Yeah.
and
So cute.
Yeah.
My character on the show it's like 50% me, 50% a character. So some of the facts, if I say something about myself, do I eat, at one point the character says, I eat oatmeal with soy sauce. I do eat oatmeal with soy sauce for breakfast.
That is
Sidebar.
Yeah.
How does one find out that you like oatmeal? Was it a drunken college moment?
No, actually it was a recipe from Mark Bittman, the cookbook author. He was just like, have a savory oatmeal. And I don't like sweet breakfasts, and oatmeal is really filling. So put sesame oil and soy sauce in it, and it's a little bit like a savory Asian breakfast.
And you like it.
But I do like it. It's great. You should give it a try. People always think it sounds gross. It's not sweet. It's just savory. But so that's true. And my real parents are on the show, but I don't really have pet turtles, and it's not my real sister. But it does confuse people. People are like, oh, is Rhea Butcher your real sister? She's just one of my favorite comics, and we noticed she's one of my favorite comics, and she's incredibly funny, and our hair is remarkably similar. So
I keep looking at your faces thinking, now where do I see, how do I, because when I saw your parents, I go, oh, okay, yeah, those are his real parents. But I was looking in her face thinking, well, I guess it could be.
Yeah.
Now, her name is Rhea Butcher?
Rhea Butcher, yeah.
Is that her real last name?
That is her real
And
last
how great
name.
is that
yeah.
name?
Because, she is clearly a lesbian.
Yep, she's got a good 5 minutes of that in her stand-up act about how funny that is. that's her
She was
name.
born
Yeah.
into that.
She's
name.
born into
She
it.
let me just plug. She had a wonderful album come out this year, and she's got a great show called "Take My Wife on CISO" with Cameron Esposito about they've got a lot. It's about their relationship. It's really awesome.
I
with
love
her
that.
wife, yeah.
Lots of comics on the show. Now, who's the guy? First of all, you told me that the guy from Westworld, his name he plays Eugene on
Ptolemy Slocum.
Say that slower.
Ptolemy?
Ptolemy Slocum.
Ptolemy
Ptolemy
Slocum.
He plays. I think his name is Eugene. He plays. I think on Westworld. He's the redheaded guy who
They cut up the bodies or whatever. Right?
they cut up the bodies,
Robots.
but he's the guy who the Tandy Newton character, the Maeve, the black prostitute.
She's a prostitute. Another spoiler alert.
Yeah, well, anybody
going,
who
Ru.
sees the first episode, Michelle, this
I haven't seen
information.
That's
it.
the
Yeah,
only
fair
episode
enough.
I saw.
It's brilliant. I love it.
I was like, oh man, I was like, this. I love the premise of this, but there is way
much?
too much screaming and stuff. I'm in a place right now where I only want to watch happy shows.
Are you looking for peace? Yeah,
Yes.
we all are, darling.
Yes.
America
No.
2017.
No, me too. Right now,
Yeah.
if anyone is being cruel on TV right now,
Can't watch
I
it.
cannot watch it.
Did you
cannot
watch the OA?
watch it.
Have you started watching that?
I did. I started watching the OA.
The angel thing.
Yeah, I think I saw 3 episodes of it. Well, and we're going to get into this
Okay.
with Adam too about streaming television because that's a big thing in my life right now.
Yeah.
But I want to get through this Adam ruins everything stuff.
Please.
So you've got this ensemble cast. There's that one guy who's in every friggin' episode.
Oh yes, Adam Lustig is his name.
Adam
Yes.
Lustig. He's in every episode. Is he one of the writers?
No, he's just a really talented actor who can really deliver. Like I said, we have all these parts where you got to go in and deliver one line as a historical figure, and he nails it every time. And he's
so
really
good.
high energy, and so he's a little bit like he was in the very first web short, and I believe he's been in almost every single episode, so he's almost a lucky charm now. We just find one thing to have him in every time. Although now he's going to be on a Comedy Central show coming out, so I'm hopeful to be able to get him when we shoot this year.
Yeah. Now we talked about a little bit earlier about the idea of people being able to receive this information.
Right.
Now, does it ever deter your need to tell this information once you find out how dumb people really, really are?
Well, I try not to see people as being dumb. I think
Well, that's my job.
I mean, I try to be very, I'm very positive about it. I think that people have differing levels, as you were saying, of their ability to receive the information. But I think that everyone's got that little core inside, and some people maybe have it a little bit more closed off than others. And our job is to pry open the door a little bit. I think even the most, conservative, closed-minded person, way off and, well, we want things to be the same as they've always been. If you like that person, if you ask them the right question, you can open the door of curiosity in their mind a little bit. And so that's what we try to
We hope and
try
we
to do on
pray.
this. We hope,
Yeah,
and so I think some people say, I hear the perspective a lot. Well, why should we have to educate the ignorant? Like if someone's so ignorant that they haven't learned the truth, why do I have to tell them? Why do I have to bring them to enlightenment? And that's a fine thing for people to say. It's not everyone's responsibility to, but on our show, we do try to speak to everybody. We really try hard to make a show that hopefully everyone in the country can watch and enjoy and learn something from that, and will bring them open their mind a little bit and make them a little bit more curious about the world.
I'm wondering, as you're saying this, I'm wondering if that's even possible because we talked a minute about I can't watch like anyone being cruel on TV right now because I just feel very sensitive this past year with all the deaths and the election and everything, and you think about people's inability to move forward as a culture in the evolution of people on this planet. That's why I think this show, Adam Ruins Everything, is so important because it does help. Knowledge is power. Knowledge actually moves us as a race of people forward.
Yes.
So this past election, where clearly there's a whole faction of our culture who does not want to move forward, who wants to go backwards, when we've already debunked all these old ideas of, you were over here, you're over here. It's like, no, we are one thing. We're not separate from one another. So that's why it's very, very frustrating.
Yes.
It's very frustrating.
Yes.
Actually, I've spent I've been actually wearing my pajamas actually for the past 2 months. A lot of people don't know this. It's true. You guys are laughing.
I'm laughing because I know you're true.
I'm actually telling you the truth.
Yeah.
I have these sweats that I've actually worn for the past 2 months.
But you get into this time of the year.
This time of year.
And now, with everything that's in front of us,
Yeah.
that we have no choice
Yeah.
except to face it. So it's going to be an inner struggle for a lot of sensitive souls. You know what I mean?
But I think that there's look, when I'm always looking at, our whole show is about the hard truth, right? It's about the truth that is really, really sucks to face, you know, but you need to face it before you move forward, you know, but before you can make the change you want to make in the world. I think a lot of the Obama coalition, right, of that group of folks, right, really was laboring under the maybe even a delusion that everybody agreed, you know, that like we've got a consensus, you know, everyone agrees with, you know, Obama and Beyonce, and you know, agrees that you shouldn't be you shouldn't be prejudiced and
Right.
Et cetera. And you know, you see that in the way people talk, like how when a celebrity says something bigoted, right? People will say on Twitter, how could this be possible that a person could think this, you know? And I think what I sort of took away from the election was like, well, you know, that proved that, look, a lot of people don't agree. It's not, you know, in the 90s, it was, when I grew up, you know, it was like, anti-racism was just like taught in school. You don't be racist. We've all agreed the civil rights movement happened and we're done and it's over and we don't need to make any more work on it. It's just, everyone agrees on this, right? And I think now we're realizing like, oh, that was a kind of a polite fiction that we papered over.
Yeah.
A lot of real division and a lot of real problems.
It still exists.
And it still exists.
Yeah.
And those people who you disagree with, they exist. They're real people. They have power in the world. And you need to confront them in whatever way is going to be beneficial. But it's your job. These people are something that you have to work with and live with if you want to make this progress. You can't just shut your eyes and say, oh, they shouldn't exist. You know, you got to actually reckon with their existence.
But I also agree with what you said, Rue, whereas there's a lot of people who are willing to not just close their eyes and just accept what comes their way, but they're willing to actually be forced back 50 to 100 years. Open arms willingly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like want it.
Yeah.
Want segregation. Want us to go backwards. Want women to shut up.
Right.
It's very interesting.
Well, that's the thing,
Yeah.
is I always assumed that we were just evolving. Like, you know, that diagram of the monkey
Evolution.
Yeah.
chart.
Darwin, yeah.
I just assume that this information that we're getting from these places that we've, like science,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
the proof is there.
For example.
That means that, you know, and even psychology, which is that, you know, you don't hate me. You hate something that about yourself that you see in me.
Or things that you can't control.
You can't control
Yeah.
about yourself.
Right.
We figured that out.
We all came from the same single cell organism.
And
Yeah.
even and racism has nothing to do with race. It has to do with power. We've debunked that. We understand it. But the fact that people would go back to that way of thinking is just ridiculous to me.
It's hard to comprehend why. Why?
Well, I see. No,
It wasn't good then.
Well,
it ain't gonna be good now.
but there is an answer to. We're going to go to a break.
There's
but
a safety in it
There is an answer
them.
to it because it's not the serve. Just like on his show, Adam Ruins Everything on Show TV. There is
You're a master plugger.
Oh, he sure is. You should know the half.
There is the under source. There's like years ago when I first got my computer, my computer tutor would say, you know what? When I come back here, I want you to see that you have effed this machine up, because when I come back, I'll fix it. But the fact that you've effed it up means that you've been getting in there and learning how it works.
Yeah.
And exactly, I would do that. And sometimes there would be something wrong. Something wasn't working right. And we'd find out that deep inside there was this, there was a bug, not a virus, but like something that was a mistake. And it manifested in this other place. And we'd fix this other thing, but it would just go back to it.
Right.
So I'm trying to make a point here. I'm going to get to it. I think in our culture, racism and all of the things that we're sort of reverting back to have its core, its basis is in a hidden not so hidden place over here. We keep trying to fix the surface part
Correct.
of it.
So it's like autoimmune disease. When you're trying to find, you know what we call it? It's called the root cause. You never find out what the actual root cause is that's causing all these disturbances everywhere else. So it takes somebody to go whoosh, whoosh, in with like a sickle and get rid of all those things until you go, there it is.
Well,
there it is.
And a real belief that I have, and if someone wants to disagree with me about this, I'm not going to dispute them.
I'll disagree
you know?
with you.
I disagreed with you before.
Sure.
That's the. It's just sort of how the way I see the world, and one of those other deep core beliefs of the show is that I don't think that the world is divided into like bad people or good people or ignorant people and enlightened people or whatever. I think that a real core belief of mine is that every sort of human problem, like racism or like I don't know. Economic collapse or anything like that, right? Any sort of problem like that is always traceable to some human flaw that everybody shares, just an unequal measure, So I think racism is, I think there's a certain natural human drive towards xenophobia to some degree, and part of civilization is understanding that and reckoning with it and grappling with it and correcting it, And so I think that whatever, that there is that deep underlying bug that creates that phenomenon where at the end of the day someone is racist perhaps, but that we can all go down and first of all it comes back to like work on yourself first, and like correct that problem in yourself first, but also it's there's something I'm losing my
No,
The
I
problem lies in correcting yourself first. The people, and we're using just this as an example. There are many things.
Yes.
The people that have that in their lives were raised that way, and they don't know or think what they're doing is wrong.
Exactly.
Right.
That's where the fundamental problem lies.
Now, we're going to go to break real quick, but I just want to put this in. This is the truth. What it is our fundamental misconception on this planet is that we think we're separate from one another.
Correct.
That is the biggest misconception. We're not. We're one thing. So when I hate myself, I then project that outward at other people.
Right.
And if I feel less than, I want to feel above someone else, so I will put that person down.
Correct.
That's just elementary human blah blah, So I think that's the root of it.
Because then you have to face your own demons.
Then you have to face your, and then you have to deconstruct your whole belief system and build yourself back up,
Go, oh my
which
God.
takes time and it takes strength to be able to look
And
at
work,
yourself.
baby, and a
work.
lot of work.
Yes,
Years,
yes. Now we're going to go to a break real quick. We'll be right back with more Adam Conover. Ooh, Michelle, there's some shows coming to town that I want to see.
Lots. Actually, you and I were just talking about going to see Fun Home.
Yeah, well, because LA, it has its theater moments.
It's
And
picking up.
It really is. And I am so happy I got my Today Ticks
Yes.
app, girl. I'm going to be seeing some shows.
Honey, it is the easiest way to get tickets to any show. And listen, I not only use it in New York when I go to Broadway, I use it here in Los Angeles. I always use it in London.
I've used it in San Francisco, and I use it here in LA, and I'm using it in New York.
Yeah, it's Today Ticks. It's red and white. It's an app. It's Today and then TIX. I'm telling you, you get so much from this little app because not only do you have to wait online to get your stuff at the box office, there's somebody that meets you half hour before the show in the red jacket. You go out there, you tell your name, they give you your tickets, boom. You get to choose where you want to be when you click on the app or when you want to buy your tickets, so you can choose how much you want to spend, and you're saving almost half.
It couldn't be easier. And I want to thank you right here and now in front of everybody for turning me on to Today Ticks. It is probably my favorite app of all time.
Yeah.
I just came out as a theater queen just a few months
So
ago.
proud of
Everybody
you.
knows it. And this makes it so easy. I've tried getting tickets through other the old-fashioned way.
Yes.
And the companies.
Wait online, and also wait online to
Oh,
TKTS.
honey, it's this makes it. We got the notification on my email. Went up to the guy with the red jacket on.
Yeah.
I said, I'm Mr. Charles. I don't want everybody to know because I don't want people walking up and say I'm Mr. Charles, but I am Mr. Charles. And he gave me the tickets.
Yes.
It was brilliant.
It is amazing. Today Ticks gives you access to insider deals and exclusive offers. You guys, I wasn't lying when I said you can get tickets up to 50% off in just a few taps. Today Ticks would like to offer you $20 off your first purchase, of course, with the code RU. So download the Today Ticks app for free on iOS and Android. That's Today TIX, or visit todaytix.com to see what's playing this week and treat yourself to a show. Todaytix.com, offer code what?
RU. We are back with Adam Conover. Now, has it ever occurred to you that because your name is Conover, like the con game is over, I
didn't realize this until people started tweeting it at me.
Great.
I had no idea. Yeah, the con is over. Yeah, people literally are like, I don't believe that's your real name because it's too perfect.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I don't know. It's just my name. My parents are Margaret and David Conover.
Well, thankfully, you have a fabulous full head of hair. If you didn't, people would call you Adam Conover.
Oh boy, that would be terrible.
Did they do that in school? Did they call
I
you
did
that?
get that. I did get that. Thankfully, if I actually had thin hair and I had to do anything with a comb over, God, that would just sit at the center of my heart and eat away at me. Thankfully,
Well, there's doctors for that job.
Yeah. Well, I forgot to mention that's another part of the ensemble of his show. Adam Ruins Everything is his hair.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is. It's got its own life. It does. Yeah.
Huge part of the show.
It's incredible, and I owe it all. First of all, Rhea Butcher, who I mentioned earlier, told me when I moved to LA, I was like, "Your hair's great. I need a barber," and she said, "Go see Pony at Folklore Salon in Echo Park," and I did. And Pony,
Genuine's gonna be all up in there.
Okay.
If you wanna ride on it.
What a great song.
Oh my God.
One of the best R&B songs ever written.
Obsessed.
Yeah.
There's this dance remix that I'm obsessed with. You want to hear a little bit of it?
I'd
Do we get
love to hear a little
sued
bit.
if we play some other people's
And while
music?
he's
Might
looking
need
it
to
up,
pay
Adam,
royalties.
how many people argue with you or come for you or say, I don't know what the right way, disagree?
I mean, quite a few people.
Because I disagree only with one thing that you've said. But I have to say, I did love the hygiene episode.
Thank you.
And I think it might have been in that episode. I don't remember which one it was, but you sidebar referred to GMOs and said, we'll talk about that later. Mm-hmm. I completely disagree with you on that.
Oh, I knew. When I saw that, I knew you would do that. I want to talk about that, but producer.
Yes, we could do it
Mr.
if
Producer,
we do less than 30 seconds.
Less than 30 seconds.
Let's
This
do
is
this
this
remix.
remix that I
Of Genuine? Is it a remake?
I don't know if it's him singing.
That's a good girl.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it is him.
that's nice.
Waited.
And then the 90s house piano comes in. Here it
Let's
comes.
hear it. Oh, yeah.
That's wonderful.
Isn't that hot?
Everybody.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Here it comes. Are we at 30 seconds yet?
Probably soon. That's amazing.
Isn't that great? I'll email it
yeah, I
to
need
you.
that. I
Oh
need
my
that.
God.
That's
So hair. GMOs. Well, I remember when I saw that show, and I think it had to do with, I don't know, it was
I
the
didn't see the
supplement
full
show
episode of
or
it.
Oh,
Which
we've
one?
never done a full episode on GMOs.
You should.
We've talked about it.
You sidebarred it real quick.
It's one of those ones that people, I think there's so much discussion about it already. So what we like to do on the show is I don't like to do topics where it's such a hot topic that everyone already has an opinion on it. You know, like people say, you got to do vaccines. And I'm like, look, everyone already knows what they think about vaccines. As soon as I mention vaccines,
I think vaccines
you're
are even deeper than GMO.
That's the extreme example, right?
Yeah.
As soon as I mention it, you know exactly what you think, and you're watching me to either say, does he agree with me? And if not, I'm going to show him why he's wrong on everything, you know? So, and it's covered in the media a lot already. I feel like GMOs is close to one of those. And
You're right.
And there's a lot of food topics. And so we like to do food. So when we look at food topics, we're like, okay, what are the ones that everyone's going to be interested in, but nobody has really thought about it as much. So we're talking about this season, maybe doing something about, stuff about food packaging or, the FDA inspection of meat, stuff like that. We're still, those are just up note cards on our corkboard right now.
because the GMO thing, I think, and I thought of Michelle as soon as I heard this. There was at one point he said something about. We're not even going to talk about.
Maybe it was the restaurant episode.
No, it wasn't that one.
I can't remember which one
I don't
it
remember.
was. But it was the side. No, it was. She was going on a date. It was a hygiene one, I think. I think she was going on a date at a restaurant, and it had something to do with ordering. I don't know what it was, but it sidebarred.
He was talking about organic food, and he's like, honey, we're not even going to talk about organic food.
Or GMOs.
It's GMO.
We talked about GMOs. I'm sitting on a park bench.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you said, I'll talk about that later.
Yeah, and
Something
like, oh yeah, GMOs are not really that bad for you.
Yes, that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I was like,
I mean, that was our pilot, so we didn't even know if we were going to do a full series yet. So that was almost, we were trying to tease the network. Hey, here are some other topics.
It's a great idea. And it's also, and we don't need to sit here and talk about it, but it's also the number one, whenever I post a story, tweet a story, anything, it's the one that people want to come at me for and say, yeah, actually, they're not bad for you. And then I'd go, actually, then you eat them. You eat them. I don't have to. This is my belief. This is my timeline, bitch.
Yeah.
Get off.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all we're going to do, because there's going to be people that are listening to this are going to tweet me and say, GMOs are scientifically proven. I get it. I hear your data. I'm going to combat it and say, then you go ahead and eat them. Yeah. I'll see you in 20 years when you grow a tail.
Let me say this about them. I would say that based on all the research that I've read, the actual process of genetically modifying food, there's not a lot of evidence that specific process is harmful, but a lot of people are very suspicious of it, and I respect that.
I understand what you're saying. It's the DNA in your body and not prepared to just, let's say they're going to merge, they're going to impregnate corn and wheat. Okay, two of the highest GMO, obviously. That's why I'm choosing these two. And they put them together. It's not that they're not both food and our body's not used to them, because they are. Yeah. It's the mutation of them that our body and our DNA is not ready to process. Well, so in the long run, what's going to happen when your body's going, what's that? What's that? Autoimmune disease. Other ones that I'm not even going to say, because these are, of course, I'm going by holistic stuff. You're going by scientific data.
Sure. Right. Well, what I was going to say is the other reason that, without getting into the, apart from all the science, or, that we could debate.
And I understand the science.
The issue is that GMOs are also part of our food system, and they're part of kind of the worst part of the food system, the most industrialized part. Yes. A lot of those companies have other bad business practices, et cetera. And so to me, a lot of times I feel like when people talk about GMOs, it's sort of like a proxy battle talking about Monsanto's other business practices, or like the, processed food system, et cetera. And so
fair enough. They kind of piggyback them.
Yeah,
fair
exactly.
enough on that. And I'm specifically going by what I know in the data that I've read. That's different from the Harvard or whatever you want to do, scientific, because you understand Big Pharma and the FDA and the way they work with these. So there's a whole bunch of that going in there too, without being conspiracy theorist. It's true.
Look, I understand why people are worried about it. Yeah. I'll be honest. I haven't read I haven't read a lot of firsthand evidence. I've talked to people who honestly work on other TV shows. Oh, we did a thing about GMOs, and we found that they're not like the evidence is not in that they're harmful. Whatever. Right. That's where I'm currently at with it. But I wouldn't defend my opinion in a court of law. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because we haven't done an episode on it yet. Once we do an episode, we have our researcher and writer, and they dive into the stuff, and then I really educate myself, and I try to become a little mini expert.
It's interesting
on the topic,
anyway. It really is that whole argument, because I do understand both sides.
Sure.
And I think at the end of the day, I just go, all right, you eat it, and I won't.
Well, here's the interesting thing about food, and we try to be careful about doing food topics on the show because people are. It's weird. Of all the topics we do, right, and of all the topics that people want to learn about in the world, people are insane about food. People are. If you listen to the way people talk about it, it's like they've been damaged and hurt by the food system, and they are now. People become obsessed with what to eat, and people see it as a proxy for their health.
But they Adam.
People act like everything that I eat is gonna like all of health is food, and all of food is health.
But it is, and we have been harmed by the foods, just like you said that. Because every other day there's a different way we should or should not be eating, and what happens is obesity, and then lose weight, different diet, and what happens is your body just goes into collapse. It gives up on you. It's going to turn on you because your body wants to work.
You know what my body says? It says, I wish I didn't have to eat.
I know, me too.
I really hate it.
And that's the urge behind that product, Soylent, right? Is people
Soylent Green.
People who are like, oh, I don't want to eat anymore. You know?
I don't want to eat anymore. Yeah, I really don't. I hate it because I get stuck in places and I have to eat what's there. And if I don't do that, I have to plan out the whole rigmarole.
You can't leave your house
if
you want to eat right. I agree.
It's hard. It's ridiculous.
So they have been hurt by the food system.
Oh yeah,
that's why they're so passionate about it.
I'm not saying they haven't been, but also people. I feel like the information we get in the media and our own obsession with it has gotten so intense that people really freak out over what
personalize
they
eat.
Yeah. And
doesn't Monsanto own Whole Foods?
No.
I have no idea.
No. No, the whole that's a whole other thing. But basically, long story short, Whole Foods is allowing Monsanto foods in their markets, which is why everybody all of a sudden is going, hold on a minute, you're Whole Foods. How can you be allowing Monsanto? They're like public enemy number one.
Right.
So I think that's that
It's just
storyline.
fascinating how food, and I don't mean any particular topic about it. I mean food as a topic, right? Especially like a political topic, is so enormous. You know, like we tried to get, we get experts on the show all the time, and the experts that we couldn't get, we tried to get like Michael Pollan or Mark Bittman, who are food writers. Those were the experts that were so big. They're like, oh, we don't even have time to take a phone call from you because we're busy, doing so much, because people are, and these are just people who write about food, like food is such an intense topic for people that
absolutely.
like people are just, when you talk to people, I just get the sense they're tied up in knots about like, what do I think? What do I eat? What should I not eat? I watched this documentary. There are people who go home and they watch a different Netflix documentary on food every single day.
Yeah.
And so a lot of our message with food is like, we gotta like relax a little bit and go like back to basics in terms of.
I don't
in terms
argue
of what
with that. I think
in
you're
terms of what-
safer.
like just eat some fruits and vegetables, cook for yourself,
Non-GMO, organic.
Yeah, whatever.
Cook
don't
for
stress out.
yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, Adam.
I can't cook. Well, I could cook.
You
I
can.
could cook.
Yeah.
I don't want to cook.
Right.
I just want to eat an apple and be done with it. It's just, oh God. Now, Michelle, you're cooking for yourself?
I have to cook every day because I have children.
That's right.
They don't just go, they go, Ma, I want dinner, so I have to cook every day.
But just tell them there's some fish sticks in the freezer and French fries.
Well, no, I did that when they were 4, but now they're 14 and 16 and they want proper meals. So I have to cook every day, which is where our great sponsor Blue Apron comes in.
That is a great way to end this segment right here, because we may just be having them as a sponsor right now.
There you
So
go.
we're going to take a break. We'll be right back with more Adam Conover. Now, Michelle, Loot Crate is a monthly subscription box service for epic geek and gamer items and pop culture gear. For less than $20 a month, you get 6 to 8 items that include licensed gear, apparel, collectibles, unique one-of-a-kind items, and more. You got a kid at home who loves this stuff.
Yeah, Lily, my 16-year-old, loves the Loot Crate anime. There's different ones you can get. There's anime, there's DX, where you get like the bigger items, the clothing, the hoodies. They have things, all stuff like that. I've gotten a bunch of Harry Potter stuff, Futurama stuff. Lily loves her anime things, Kingdom Hearts, like incredible things. And I got it for Lily as a gift, and she gets a new box every month, and she gets super excited. So think about a gift using Loot Crate as a gift.
That's a great idea. You know what I think is the cutest thing is that they have them for your pet.
Yes!
Now that is really adorable. You
Yeah.
know, for $20 a month, you get these gorgeous little boxes for your little poopy every single
Yes.
Monday. Come here, you got something new,
Isn't it funny
baby.
how sometimes we treat the animals better than we treat the kids?
Well,
The other animals?
Sometimes the animals behave better than the kids.
I'm going to say more times than not. But if you guys check out Loot Crate, go to lootcrate.com. You can see all the different choices they have there. And when you're ready to go, do the offer code RU, of course, and you can save $3 off any new subscription today. Both my daughter's birthdays are coming up, and I can tell you, when you have to buy birthday gifts for people, this is such a great gift idea.
It is lovely. That's lootcrate.com/RU, offer code RU. We are back with Adam Conover. We were talking about food. You want to know what I had for breakfast? Listen.
Are you ready to disclose? You sure you want to do this?
That's where I am. I'm gonna keep it real.
Okay, go.
I'm gonna keep it real.
Tell
I'm gonna
us.
keep it hood. There's no food in the house right now.
Okay.
This morning I had a cup of tea. I had some PG Tips tea
Fabulous.
with half and half.
Any honey?
No.
You like it black like your man?
Yes, right.
All right.
And then I had an Almond Joy, half a bag of Lay's potato chips.
Were they salty? Were they wavy?
They were no, they were regular classic.
Did you have a dip?
No, I didn't.
Just straight up.
Straight up.
Do you
Sounds
love
great.
chips with dip? Because it's my favorite part of food.
I can tell you what I had for dinner last night.
Okay, let's go back to the
Okay, but let me finish this.
Finish breakfast.
And then I had a half a bag that I got at the liquor store of
Why were you in a liquor store?
because they have the chips and they have the things.
Which
They have the
ones?
chips I like.
I had Famous Amos now makes a chocolate chip.
So no longer just a straight up chocolate chip.
No. Oh, I've gone chocolate
You
chip.
did
I
not.
certainly did. I had that, and I had another.
Did you
element.
dip them in the tea?
Well, this is the thing. Yesterday, and I've been in a
place.
I can't say the word precarious.
Precarious.
I can't. It's hard. I'm from the hood.
Yeah.
That's
it.
Precarious. That's as far as honestly. That's as far as I can get with that word.
Precarious.
Anyway. So yesterday, I said, I'm going to start my diet tomorrow, which I haven't.
Right.
So I said, you know what?
All your trouble seems so far away.
I said to myself, Ru, if this were going to be your last bad boy meal,
what do you want?
Yeah. What do you want? Okay. And you know what 3 words came up into my mind? What came up into mind was
peanut butter cups?
No, lemon pepper wings.
Oh, from that place that Ross Matthews.
I looked that place up, but they were too far from my neighborhood.
So did you find one?
So I went over here to Hollywood Boulevard and La Brea. At a place called Buffalo something, Buffalo something.
Stance?
Buffalo Stance. Nina Cherry was up in there, and I got a mess of wings.
I didn't think that they don't sound too bad for you. Lemon pepper is not like
lemon pepper. That sounds so healthy.
Yeah, it's so
but
healthy.
Trust me, there was so much salt in that
non-GMO
shit.
chickens. I'm sure.
I'm sure those chickens was. So I got a mess of wings, lemon wings, and some blue cheese.
Drink?
Blue cheese.
Oh,
drink. You said blue drink.
You know where my mind went. I love blue drink. Blue's not even a fucking flavor.
The blue drink.
And I got that. And so
blue cheese. Tell me what it was
blue
like.
Cheese, and so I dipped the things in there, but then I also dipped the other half of that Lay's potato chip bag
into the blue cheese.
Into the blue cheese dip.
Oh, there you go.
I had that.
You know what I say to you? Yes.
Thank you.
That's great.
Yes.
Yes.
Good for you.
I am GMOs all the
God,
motherfucking
all
way.
the way.
I'm going to change.
Yeah.
It's just that, this time of year, Adam, I get my body every year since I was a child. Mama said I had too much sensitivity on things.
You do, baby.
I go into hibernation mode, and I'm working on 2 albums at the same time right now, and I work and I do the thing.
He disconnects from the world.
Yeah, but I disconnect.
I'll send him 5,000 texts. Go, hey, because I know where he's. I know him like the back of my hand. I know where he's going.
Yeah.
I just want to know he's all right, but as long as he's eating Lay's of hot wings with sauce, and he's good.
Man, I find the harder you work, the harder it is to take care of yourself.
Yeah, it is, of course.
And I realized watching the last season of the show, I was like, oh God, I'm watching myself gain weight in real time.
It's hard, isn't it?
Because I thought, first of all, when we shoot the show, I'm on my feet for 12 hours because I'm in every shot and it's these fast moves. It's like a dance with the camera. And so it's very, very, I'm like, I feel like I'm working out, And so when lunch comes, I load up my plate. I'm like, I've been working all day. I'm going to enjoy lunch. I'm going to get the good stuff. You know what I mean? But then by the end of the year, the last 3 episodes, I'm like, I do not fit into that jacket like I did the fitting. Like literally there was, for our last episode, but my incredible wardrobe supervisor, Alicia, she's like, okay, here's your wardrobe. I put it on. I'm like, I think, I know that we did a fitting for these pants 3 months ago at the beginning of the season, but it's episode 14 and you need to let them out. And so that's the hardest thing is when you're working that hard because you are denying yourself so much. You're like, I wanna take a break, and for me, play some video games. I can't do that. I gotta get back to work. And so then when it's time to eat, you're like, let me just give myself a moment of relief here. But then, oh man, that adds up a little bit.
Yeah, it does. And I always think to myself, well, when I'm off season, I can do what I want, and then I come back. Yeah. But the truth is, there is no off season. Yeah. This is a company town. You could get a job at any moment. You have to always be prepared, Cheryl Teagues.
You are 6'4". You look amazing, even if you put on 10 or 20.
Well.
And that's the truth, because when you film, you're usually so ridiculously thin. You don't have to do that anymore. And by the way, the older you get, and we're women of a certain age, it shows more when you get that skinny.
That's true.
I think you look better with a little plus.
I hear you. I understand that theory. I've seen it. Madonna's doing it right now.
Yes, but you see it with your eyes.
Cher does it. But I don't believe in doing it. I want to be rail thin all the time. I want to be skinny. You
see the pictures what you look like when you're skinny.
I do. I just need a little more filler. I just need a more filler in my face.
You've lost your mind.
And I need a little more GMOs pumped into my face. So
I'll go on Monsanto. I'll get us a vat.
Ooh, I love that.
Now,
who does style? So Alicia styles you?
Alicia Silverstein's her name. Yeah,
she does the
not related
the flowers,
to Alicia Silverstone.
Not Alicia Silverstone. Yeah. She does the pocket squares and the flowers in the lapels.
Yeah, it's a collaboration. I came up with some ideas, but now we've got this real nice style going that she now we're at the point where she just gives me something. I'm like, that looks great, and it looks good every time.
But wait a minute, I'm trying to get at. Could you have put that? Did she take your style and refine it? Or did you always do pocket squares like that?
I think what it is
and bow ties?
I never wear a bow tie on the show.
You never wear a bow tie?
I think once I'm wearing a tux, I wear a bow tie.
A bow tie would be cute on him with that style.
It really
Alicia.
would be. You don't
It's a
wear
little.
bow tie.
I could give it a try, but I always find bow ties a little bit too over the top nerdy. The way I dress on the show is kind of how I have always aspired to dress, or at least I did in the couple years
Like
leading
a
up to the
whore.
show.
I'm just teasing.
Just like a flat, like a fun, classic menswear kind of look.
Yeah.
And so that's what we sort of built it around. But it's like I owned, one suit and two sport coats before we did the show, and now I've got like a closet full of them because I get to keep the stuff in the off season.
Isn't suits? Now I wear a lot of different suits, and I love my Klein Epstein Parker. I love my Muslim Norway. But I got to tell you, I own a lot of suit supply. They are fabulous.
That's a real thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
honey.
I thought you were kidding.
No.
they're great.
They have a store down on Broome Street in New York, and they have one up on, is it 55th and Madison, or is it
Sounds about
59?
right.
Is it like
Sounds about right.
suits for the everyday man?
Oh, no.
No.
No. This is this Norwegian guy, or maybe he's from Amsterdam. Those countries, they get them all mixed up.
Yeah.
It's sweet.
The Netherlands.
He's Dutch. He's
Okay.
yeah.
That's,
Anyway.
that's Denmark.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
That's Amsterdam.
Amsterdam,
Yeah.
Holland, yeah. He has this template that he uses in all of his stores. He's got stores in Denver. They have a pop-up store in the Bloomingdale's here in Los Angeles. But in New York, they have 2 stores. Atlanta, I think Chicago, Las Vegas, they have
It sounds so like American Apparel.
No. This is the thing. They've taken what Men's Warehouse is, but they've done it in a super stylish way.
Oh,
The
okay.
owner of the company styles all of the mannequins, and they look so hot. And the mannequins in the store have big fat asses and muscles,
That's
and they're
smart.
sexy.
Is he homosexual, the guy?
I don't think so. And the music in the store is all sort of soul music
Yeah.
or neo soul music, where it's hot, or soul dance music.
Oh, I love that.
It's
Oh, my
brilliant,
God.
and it's all styled so brilliantly. I swear to you, don't tell the people at Klein Epstein Parker or at Muslim Norway, but I probably have 30 suit supply.
Wow.
Do you?
George
How is the
probably
price
has 10.
point?
Oh, they're really good.
Yeah.
You could get a suit, a stylish suit, for probably under $700.
Yeah,
Please correct me and
that's
tell
what's
me,
great
is
about
that
it.
a good price?
That's a good price.
That is a good price.
I
I don't think at least I haven't done comparison shot that much, but why I gravitated to them even before I started doing the show was it's in terms of the style of the suits and then the construction of the suits, you're not going to get better at that price
I was like,
point.
because
Right.
can't you go to Men's
Yeah.
Warehouse and get a suit for $300?
No, but see,
Yeah, but that looks like shit.
That
Does
looks
it?
like
Okay.
no, Tino Shade, Men's Warehouse. I'm sure you do a fabulous job, but I've never worn one of your suits. But also at Suit Supply, they have a tailor on site.
Oh,
yeah.
that
and they're good
helps.
and they're good tailors.
And they're good
Okay.
tailors.
So I've always had a good experience there. You go try it on, and then the guys helping you are really good at pinning it up.
Yeah.
And then they will ship it to you for free. So they'll tailor it, and then they'll ship it to you for free. So it's like and then you end up getting like
You
can
ship
get
your pants?
well, they put it in a big weird suit
Michelle,
box.
you don't ship your pants, do you?
I don't. Well, I don't.
I ship my pants every day, I believe.
It depends how I eat.
Yeah, it depends. If you had GMOs or so. Adam,
right,
you ship your
Took me a second.
you ship your pants.
yeah, I do.
Let me hear you say it. Then.
I ship my pants. I do ship
Oh,
my pants.
Adam, I'm sorry. But Zara, let me just say, let me plug my store.
Yeah.
Zara, because for my husband, I don't know how to buy a suit. He doesn't wear suits. He'll wear a jacket and
Yeah.
pants, that type of thing. They have great suits in Zara.
They have great suits. They're not going to last for a long
No,
time,
and they do
that's
need
fine.
tailoring.
And that's
Yes.
fine.
But if you don't wear them a lot, like him, you
Yeah.
wear suits every day.
Every day.
David doesn't.
Yeah.
So it works for him. And
Listen-
it's only
Yeah.
$300-400.
Okay, so Suit Supply, fabulous.
Great.
Moods of Norway,
Incredible.
fantastic. They're really great.
I gotta
and
give that a try.
It's over there on Melrose here in LA.
And I'm going to say the Trina Turk, man,
yeah,
Turk man?
what's his name? Mr. Turk.
Mr. Turk.
Yeah, they're great
Amazing.
suits. But like, I gotta put in my Klein Epstein Parker,
Oh,
which are the suits
hell
I
yes.
wear on
The show.
Drag Race.
Yeah.
The price point is really good. You go and get a
Klein
designer
Epstein and
suit.
Parker.
Yeah, you get a designer suit. It's anywhere from $2,200 to $2,600.
Okay.
But a Klein Epstein Parker,
Tell it.
it's about $2,200.
So it's on the low end of what a designer suit would cost
Yeah,
you.
and it's tailored to you. It is bespoke.
Yeah.
So many different fabrics, and it's beyond. It is brilliant.
Yeah.
So you're getting what a Dolce Gabbana, or we don't wear those suits anymore.
No.
But
Gucci.
what a Gucci or what a Tom Ford, whatever.
Yeah.
At that value for $1,100.
See, and you can't
That's
afford.
great.
A Tom Ford suit is going to cost you $6,000 to $8,000,
Oh,
probably, if not more.
No,
10, 12?
Tom Ford, you could probably get one for maybe from $2,800 to $3,200.
Oh, that cheap you can?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. But
Yeah.
even so, $1,100 is way more of a bargain to me.
Yeah.
And it looks like that Tom Ford.
Look, still
It
out of
look-
our show's budget, unfortunately. We're just on
You're doing
basic
great with suits and
cable.
Oh, honey, you look so good.
Thank you.
are a style maven.
That's
with
so kind
that
of you
thing.
to say. I
Now, that's
appreciate
what I was
that.
trying to get at you, but you never really let me have that. Is it Alicia or is it you?
Did you
It's a
bring
collaboration. I had this sort of idea for a look in mind where like, because here's the thing. First of all, I knew I wanted to wear a jacket with lapels and a tie, because that's a little bit, the uniform of, having a little bit of respectability on TV and having people believe what you say,
and
that's
an
the old-fashioned-
intellect. There's
Yeah.
because what you're wearing says this is someone who's actually
Yeah.
paying attention to not only style but how he presents himself.
Exactly, yeah, and it looks composed, and I think right now, especially in comedy, just doing stand-up comedy, everyone is so dressed down. It's all hoodies and jeans and
Do you
Chuck
wear your little
Taylors.
suits when you do your stand-up?
I do sometimes. I do more now when I'm on tour, definitely, because I wanna be counter to that and be a little bit more dressed up and classic. But it's a pet peeve of mine that male comedian talk show hosts, male comedian hosts on TV, they all dress so boring that
I agree.
like,
it's ripped jeans and a shirt outside.
yeah, or it's these very conservative suits. Like why if you're doing the fun show, if you're doing the late night show, and a lot of these late night shows are like hey, it's a party, we got the Roots, or whatever. Why these dull suits? So I wanted to bring in a lot more patterns and a lot more accessories and stuff like that, and just like dress in an interesting way. That was my only goal. And then I'm not like, look, I'm not like an incredibly skilled dresser in everyday life. I do okay, but it's like more like, okay, now we'll get a great wardrobe person who can really make it happen. So I had sort of the idea in mind, and then Alicia executes on it in an incredible way. But
works.
I'm a dilettante. I read anything that I do. I like to read the blog or find the book or figure out how people who really give a shit about it, how they do it. So over the past couple of years, I had been like reading about like, okay, how should a suit fit, and like how to like what are the different types of ties and what are the different fabrics and stuff like that. So I bring a little bit of that knowledge as well, but I wouldn't call myself an expert.
What pulls it all together is that cute nose of yours. That's why we really watch.
Well, that's all Mr. and Mrs. Conover is doing.
Do you see his nose, Michelle?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that the most gorgeous nose?
He's telling you, that's the face is the little Adam Rich, and it was like we loved Adam Rich.
Yes.
And this and I hate to compare, but for me, it's an unconscious thing that happens that you're drawn in. I told you the Alton Brown thing. I love him. So automatically it's like, woo. And then you go, oh, now this is Adam. I like Adam. You can ruin whatever you want. You're fun to watch.
I'm just a little sweetie pie.
You are adorable.
Well, the
darling.
show is called Adam Ruins Everything. It's on True TV if you don't have cable, which I'm about to cut the cord. We didn't talk about that. We'll talk about that later.
I cut the cord.
You did cut the
Oh,
cord.
we got to talk.
Yeah, we got to talk about that.
I just added it because I got a cable TV show, so I was like, I better get cable.
I shouldn't say that, should I? Our TV's
our
on
show's
cable.
on cable too, but
You've put in your due in the TV industry.
Yeah.
I don't think you got to pay in at all. For me, I'm like, you know what? I want to watch the show when it airs. I'll buy it. It's new to me. I've only been doing a show for 2 years.
Well,
so,
the show is you guys are starting to film the third season now.
It's technically the second season because our first season was 2 years long. Because that's what a network can make happen in your first year. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
So we had a
Yes.
2-year long first season. So we're about to do our third year, which will be season 2. We're doing 16 episodes this year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and we're writing them right now.
Well, I love the show. Continued success. Keep debunking those myths.
Please.
And I will always be watching.
Thank you so much for having me and for your support. It's incredible. Thank you.
All right. Well, Michelle, until next time. Bye. Now I'm going to go get me some of them GMOs.
No.
Ooh.
Can I get an amen? Can I get an amen? If you can't love yourself, How in the hell you gonna love somebody else? Can I get an amen?
And don't forget to subscribe on iTunes.
If you can't love yourself, how in the hell you gonna love somebody else? Amen.